Hey guys, welcome back to this brand new video. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create this type of very simple and trendy photo slideshow animation inside of DaVinci Resolve 16 without using any third-party plugins. So this is Vikash for Skyline Motions, and without any further ado, let's take a new project and get started. Alright, so here we are in DaVinci Resolve 16, and first of all we have to do some basic settings. So just click on this setting button, and here we have to set the size of this project 1920 by 1080. Let's go with any frame rate. So in this case I'm using this 30 frame per second, and we have to set the playback frame rate equal to this timeline frame rate. So I'm going to set this value 30 and click on save. Now I'm going to create this animation inside of this Fusion page. So we have to take a new Fusion composition. So just go to this media pool, right click on that and click on this new Fusion composition, and let's call it anything. So I'm going to call it slide 1 and set the duration of this composition 5 seconds long. Should be good enough for one slide, and set this frame rate 30 and click on create. Now just drag this composition on this timeline. Just go to this Fusion page. And here we have media out node. So just drag this media out to the side for now, and let's import an image first. So just go to this media pool, right click on that, click on this import media, and in this case I'm using this image that I have downloaded from unsplash.com, where you can find free images for your project, and click on open. And just drag this image on this flow window, and just drag this image into this preview window and close this media pool. Alright, now we have to attach our transform node that is gonna be our image controller. So select this media in node, click on this transform button to add a transform node. Just drag this transform to the viewer and hit F2 on the keyboard to rename and call it controller. Hit OK. Just select this media in, hit F2 on the keyboard to rename and call it image. Hit OK. And after that, select this controller and hit Control plus a space bar for search box, or you can also hit Shift plus a space bar for search box and search for crop node. Hit add button, and as you can see, we have these 1920 by 1080 proportion. And after that, select this controller and fit this image according to this 1920 by 1080 proportion. Click on fit button, select this controller, go to inspector window, and here let's increase the size of this and set this image like this. Now let's add one more transform node that is going to be our scale animation. So select this crop node, click on this transform button, drag this transform to the viewer, and just go to the end of this animation and right click on size, click on animate, and go to very first frame of this animation, and I'm going to set the size of this image something around 1.2, hit enter. And as you can see, we have an animation like this. And after that, select this transform, hit F2 on the keyboard to rename and call it a scale animation. Select this scale animation, hit Control plus a space bar for search box, and this time search for a directional blur node. So this is our directional blur node, hit add button. Just drag this directional blur to the viewer, hit F2 on the keyboard to rename and call it blur. Select this blur, go to inspector window, and here we have this length. So I'm going to set this blur length value something around 0.03. Alright, and now we have a blur image, and let's add one more node. So for this time, just click on this color corrector node, hit F2 on the keyboard, call it CC for color corrector, and now just connect the output of this scale animation with this color corrector. like this, and just drag this color corrector to the viewer and select this color corrector node. Go to inspector window, and here we have this saturation. So I'm going to set this saturation value 0, which is the color value of the image. And here we have this lift, so let's down this lift value, and now we get this type of output. And after that we have to add a text. So click on this T button to add a text node. Just drag this text to the viewer and type anything that you want, and select your favorite font style. So in this case I'm using Hand Sierra font style, and of course you can choose any different font style that you want. And I'm going to set the size of this text 0.25. all right, and now let's attach this text with this output. So we have to take a new merge node. So click on this merge button to add a merge node, and here we get 2 points. The first one is yellow for background and the second one is green for foreground. So I'm going to use this text as a foreground and this output as a background. So connect this yellow background point with this color corrector and green foreground point with this text, and just drag this merge 1 to the viewer, and now we get this type of output. And after that we have to add a drop shadow effect for the text. So just select this text node, hit Ctrl plus a space bar for search box and search for drop shadow. This is our drop shadow effect. Hit add button, hit F2 on the keyboard and call it shadow. And after that we have to create brush stroke kind of animation. So for that we need a brush stroke PNG file. So just go to this media pool, right click on that, click on this import media, and here we have this brush 1, click on open. So I have given a link in the description for this brush. So just go to the link and download this brush PNG file and just drag this brush into this flow window. Hit F2 on the keyboard, call it brush. Hit OK. Close this media pool and just drag this brush to the viewer. And now we have to animate this brush stroke. So click on this transform button to add a transform node with this brush. Hit F2 on the keyboard, call it T1 for transform 1. Just drag this transform to the viewer and let's adjust the brush. So I'm going to place this brush right over here maybe, and let's increase the size of this. So I'm going to set the size of this brush something around 1.2. And now we need 2 more brushes. So we have to add 1 more transform node with this. Hit F2 on the keyboard to rename and call it T02 for transform 02. And after that just connect the output of this brush with this transform and just drag this transform 2 to the viewer. We have to do one more time. So take 1 more transform node, call it T03 for transform 03, and connect the output of this brush with this T03 and just drag this to the viewer. And after that we have to merge these 3 outputs. So take a new merge node and connect the yellow background point with this T1, green foreground point with this T02, and let's take 1 more merge node. Connect this yellow background point with this merge 2 and green foreground point with this T03, and just drag this merge 3 to the viewer and set these brushes like this. Alright, and now I'm going to use this output as a matte. So we have to take a new merge. So I'm going to use this output as a background and this one as a foreground. So I'm going to connect this yellow background point with this merge 3 output and green foreground point with this merge 1 output, and just drag this merge 4 to the viewer and we get this type of output. And just select this merge 4 and here we have this operator. So right now our foreground is over on this background, but we have to change foreground inside of the background. So change this over to in, and we get this type of output as you can see. And now I'm gonna animate these brushes. So just drag this brush right over here, select this T1 for transform 1, and go to on frame number 60, which is equal to 2 seconds according to 30 fps, and select this T1, go to this transform and right click on center, click on animate, select the second one, right click on center, click on animate, select this third one, right click on center, click on animate. Basically we have to create keyframe on 2 seconds for each of this transform, and go to very first frame of this animation, and here select this first one and just drag this brush outside of this frame over here. Maybe select this second one and drag it on right hand side like this, and do the same thing for third one. So select this transform 3, just drag it outside of this frame like this, and now we get this linear animation. So I'm gonna make this animation smoother. So just go to this spline window, hit F4 on the keyboard to full screen, and let's minimize all the nodes and check this T1 for transform 1, T2 and T03, and click on this fit button. Select all the keyframe like this, hit S on the keyboard to smooth, or you can also click on this smooth button. Set the CTI at frame number 0, very beginning of this animation, and hold this handle and create a curve just like this, and do the same thing for all the 3 nodes. All right, and now just go to on frame number 5 or 10 and hold this second handle and just place it right over here just like this. All right, and now we have a smooth curve just like this as you can see, and close this spline window. All right, and now as you can see all the brushes revealing at same time, but we have to create a gap of somewhere around 15 frame between each brushes. So just go to a spline window again, go to full screen, and for this time uncheck this T1, uncheck this T3, and check this transform 02 only, and click on fit button. Select these keyframes, go to on frame number 15, maybe half a second, hold this keyframe, hold shift on the keyboard and just drag it right over here, and go to on frame number 30 and uncheck this T02 and check this T03 for transform 3. Click on fit button, select these both keyframes and hold this keyframe, hold shift on the keyboard and just drag it on frame number 30 and close this spline window. And now we get this type of animation which is looking much more interesting. All right, and we have to merge both the output, this one and this one. So just take a new merge node, and this time I'm going to use this blurred image as a background and this output as a foreground. So just connect this yellow background point with this blurred image, connect this green foreground point with this merge 4 output, and just drag this merge 5 to the viewer. All right, just drag this node right over here, and now we get this type of effect as you can see. Let's do one more thing. Just select this merge 5 and we have to add one more transform node for a rotation animation. So just select this merge 5, click on this transform button to add a transform node, hit F2 on the keyboard to rename and call it a rotation. and just drag this rotation to the viewer. Just go to the end of this animation, and here we have this angle. So right click on this angle, click on animate, and go to very first frame of this animation, and I'm going to set this angle value 6 degree. But as you can see, we have this type of problem, so we have to solve this problem. So just select this rotation transform node and just go to this edges, and here we have this canvas. So I'm going to change this edges canvas to mirror, and now we get this type of output. Click on this fit button, and after that we have to add some extra stuff. So just go to this media pool, right click on this media pool, click on this import media, and I'm going to use this animated lens flare. So I have given a link in the description for this flare, so just go to the link and download this flare and click on open, and just drag this lens flare animation on this flow window. Hit F2 on the keyboard to rename and call it flare. And I'm going to merge this flare with the main output. So take a new merge node and connect this yellow background point with this rotation and green foreground point with this flare, and just drag this merge 6 to the viewer. And as you can see, we have this black background attached with this lens flare, so we have to remove this black background. So just select this merge 6, go to this inspector window, and here we have this apply mode. So change this normal to screen mode, and we get this type of flare, as you can see. And now just select this merge 6, and let's increase the size of this and place this spot outside of the frame. Now it's looking much more interesting, as you can see. Now let's do one more thing. Just go to this keyframe and just go over here, and as you can see, this is our lens flare. So I'm gonna place this lens flare at the end of this animation right over here. Close this spline window and close this keyframe. All right, close this media pool, and here we have our animation, as you can see. And finally, we have to connect the media out node with the main output. So connect this merge 6 output with this media out, and go to this edit page, and here our slideshow animation is ready for render. And now I'm going to show you how to create multiple slide. So just select this fusion composition, hit Ctrl C to copy, place the CTI at the end of this, hit Ctrl V to paste, set the CTI in the center of this fusion composition, and go to your fusion page. And here we have to change the image first. So just delete this image, and let's import one more image. So just right click on this media pool, click on import, and import any image. So I'm going to use this one, click on open, just drag it on this flow window, attach this image with this controller. And now we can control the image also. So select this controller, and you can adjust the size and position of the image like this, and you can also change the text. All right, and then go to your edit page, and our second slide is ready for render. So just go to very first frame of this animation, turn on the loop button, and let's have a look. Alright, so it's looking nice, and that's all for this tutorial, guys. I hope you like it. If you like it, then hit the subscribe button and click on the bell icon to get notified when I will upload my new video, and I will see you in next tutorial. Till then, bye bye.